made before the very recent death of Rob Gretton, founder of the Haçienda.
And as soon as I came out of the station, I could hear this boom, 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 boom.
I think working on the door made me really, really tough.
The bloke turns up with a pop gun and they all run like hell.
They all sort of blurred into one night of a lot of head shaking.
Fun and hectic, you know, and sort of like wild and wacky.
A bit embarrassing sitting in the club and having Bernard Manning taking the mickey out of your sound system.
It was like a playground for grown-ups. It was like a youth club for grown-ups.
It's the only place in the country that was like an illegal warehouse party.
Thousands of people come in every week to hear the best music around.
It was such a collision of different kinds of people, you know, of age groups and backgrounds.
When you've got a central place where everyone can meet and swap ideas and work with each other, then you get great things coming out of it, and that was really, you know, the key to the success of the Haçienda.
In Manchester in 1982, going out was about going to gigs, bars and student nights. You went to the Russell Club, the new Osborne and Rafters. On May the 21st, a new, very different kind of club opened its doors. The Haçienda, named after Ivan Chechkov's urbanist manifesto from the early 50s, would be a space in which people could dream. It would be a club to change the whole history of club culture.
The club came from New Order's travels, especially from New York, and we used to go out, like to go out clubbing all the time. And we used to go to clubs like the Fun House in New York, the Paradise Garage, Peppermint Lounge, Danceteria, Haraz, AM, PM, Berlin. We found that clubs over there were a completely different entity, really. There was none of this, oh, you can't get in with trainers, lads, you know, and they weren't covered with mirrors. And they were real sort of vibing, really sort of good happening clubs. People didn't dance with each other, they just danced on their own, and they danced everywhere, they danced in the walkways.
And it's funny because there was like a consortium sort of, Mancunians went over with New Order, and we were stood around. And then New York people said, come on, have a dance. Can't dance, we don't dance, we're from Manchester. We don't do anything like that. And we thought it was really uncool to sort of jig about and dance on the dance, which it was actually, but I mean, it all changed later on, and that did sort of come back. It did come back with New Order, because they were making dance music by them anyway, and did it very well.
For early 80s, for Manc lads going over there, it was a real eye-opener, you know, that was the golden era of New York. We used a lot of those influences here. I mean, you know, the DJs not having microphones, the kind of open door policy, the kind of mixture of having different events, having music bands, DJs, video jockeys, poetry night. We had everything really at the beginning. The Haçienda was a space to be utilised for a lot of different things.
The idea for building a club was actually our partner Rob Gretton's idea.
Who is he?
Our manager.
He's the manager of the band, ladies and gents. Big round of applause.
The other two main partners, Mr. Erasmus and myself, didn't want to have a club because we'd already had one in Newham, and we kept telling Rob what it's like when it's empty and how awful that feels, but we were overruled by Rob.
We wanted to create a kind of focal point for the city's cultural side, where musicians could meet and where bands could play.
When we built the Haçienda, someone said, why are you building a New York discotheque? And we went, oh, no, well, who are you building it for? Well, the kids. And they went, the kids are wearing long raincoats. Wake up.
As the project got underway, the building was found, an unusual showroom at the end of Whitworth Street.
So when I initially walked into the building, there was yachts parked up in these bays, but it was the actual roof of the building that impressed me the most, which when you think we were opening a nightclub, it shouldn't have been a a facet of the building that should have been of any interest.